economic activity started 2022 on a subdued note, as evidenced by a Stanbic PMI reading that fell to the lowest level in the past 9 months. The reading of 47.6 in January indicated a deterioration in business conditions from the month of December, when it was at 53.7. The main driver of this contraction in business condition was a significant drop in domestic demand following the December festive season, which forced firms to reduce their level of output to meet that lower level of demand. Hello, my name is Kuria Kamau and I'm the economist at Stanbic Bank, Kenya. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the Stanbic Purchasing Managers Index, the Stanbic PMI as we like to call it. The Stanbic PMI is a monthly indicator of business conditions and is carried out by surveying 400 of the largest companies in Kenya across various sectors and asking them about business conditions in that month vis-a-vis the month before. We ask them about various aspects of their business, including the level of demand they're seeing, the level of output that they're being able to produce, as well as their inputs that go into those. How you should understand the reading is any score above 50 indicates an expansion in business conditions, while a score below 50 indicates a contraction. There are 4 main things worth highlighting out of the January report. The first is, while export demand increased marginally, we saw a significant drop in domestic demand following the December festive season. Client spending in particular was negatively impacted by rising prices as well as a resurgence in COVID-19 driven by Omicron. Firms in wholesale and retail trade were impacted the most by this drop in demand. Second, as a result of the lower demand, firms were forced to reduce their output, as well as purchases of new raw materials for the first time since April of 2021. But on a positive note, firms continued to hire, but it was at the lowest pace that we've seen in the last 6 months. Third, inflationary pressures resurfaced. Input prices in particular rose at their fastest pace since July, driven by higher tax burdens, as well as an increase in raw material prices. Output prices, meanwhile, rose at a slower pace than input prices, as firms were forced to accept a smaller margin in order to avoid a significant drop in sales volumes. And finally, the 12-month outlook as reported by firms saw a slight improvement in December, but it still remains near its all-time lows. The main concerns that businesses are talking about are around COVID-19 and the upcoming general elections. Looking forward to the month of February, there are 2 things worth highlighting. The first is we could see an uptick in the level of export demand driven by floriculture firms exporting flowers during the Valentine season. As you know, Kenya is the largest exporter of flowers into Europe. The second is the resurgence in inflation that's being caused by higher oil prices. Rising inflation is likely to result in a reduction in the level of demand, as well as negatively impact the level of output that firms are able to produce. Until we meet again, we at Stanbic Bank will continue to support you and your business by providing market-leading insights. Because Kenya is our home, we drive our growth.